The Salem Witch Trials. Background. The year is 1692. The setting is Massachusetts, city of Salem. Decades after the founding of the city, the colonists are experiencing many tensions. These tensions subsequently led to the development of the visible and invisible worlds of Salem. The visible world.
Economic reasons that caused great stress and led to the witch trials. Trade in Salem, the region's second largest port, caused the city to become prosperous. However, it also caused a sharp economic divisions among the residents. Residents in the eastern section benefited from the Salem's commercial expansionism, while people in the western half did not. This uneven distribution of wealth caused tensions between East and West Salem to become stronger. This sharp divide correlates with the distribution of witches and accusers. In fact, the accusers lived on the unsatisfied western side, and the people accused of being witches lived on the richer eastern side. These witches were often defended by their neighbors on the eastern side.
Religious causes. Religious zealousness was prevalent. Many of the accused had Quaker connections, and conflict for religious leadership also existed.
The invisible world. Little knowledge of medicine in the 17th century led to the belief of witches. Witchcraft was widely accepted among colonists, who strongly believed supernatural powers were at hand. They believed that Satan recruited witches to work for him by possessing the minds of innocent people, causing illness, or destroying property. The colonists believed that God is in the sky, but the devil is around every corner. Ultimately, this caused a very tense and paranoid community. Everyone envisioned and talked about their perfect Puritan society, but they knew that in reality, that was not actually existent. This all led up to the Salem witch trial.
The events of the Salem witch trials. Around 3 centuries later, Arthur Miller composed the play The Crucible, which described the events of the Salem witch trials. This includes the execution of 19 men and women and 2 dogs. The book tells of several Salem girls who behaved very strangely, presumably due to witchcraft. The girls begin to accuse the slave Tituba and others as the cause of the strange behavior. This escalated into more people being accused. Eventually, hundreds of people were thrown into jail after fervent trials. Ultimately, a new governor appointed by the Crown stopped any additional trials and executions.
What's wrong, Samantha?
They're making me do this!
Who's making you do this?
Britt and Carson!
Are you saying they're witches?
Yes!
Oh my gosh, let's go get Britt and Carson.
Okay. There are the witches, right there!
Oh, special.
Right there! Yes, you are!
No, baby, give me! No! I'm gonna win!
Overall, the Salem witch trials was the result of little to no knowledge of medicine. It created the visible and invisible worlds of Salem, where people talked of the perfect Puritan society, but in reality they knew that's not what's happening. 120 men, women, and children were arrested for witchcraft in Salem, where 19 were executed. A new governor appointed by the Crown stopped any additional trials and executions. Many accusers were members of the farming class living on the western side of town, and many of the accused were associated with commercial interests living on the eastern side of town.
5 facts to remember about the Salem witch trials. 1. Deep-rooted Salem rivalry existed between the village folk of the west part of town and the village folk of the east side of town. Westerners were farmers while Easterners were businessmen. 2. Over the period of 10 months, 165 people were accused of being a witch in Salem. 3. Over the same period of 10 months, 150 people were put into prison in Salem. 4. 19 men and women were killed after being accused. 5. One man refused to admit he was a witch and was crushed to death with stones. More important than anything else, just remember that the Salem witch trials occurred from 1492 through 1493, not before 1490.